That's not funny.
Oh, and the world's going crazy!
Stop, drop, and talk.
We've got no time for bullshit!
Stop, drop, and talk. With Ava, RJ, and B-Rock. It's Stop, drop, and talk.
That's nothing to say.
Hey, we are coming at you live. This is episode 6. I'm so excited about tonight. I'm so excited about all the things that we have planned for you. And I'm so excited. Oh, hey, Brock.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
And B-Rock, his sign already fell over. With me, as always, is the incredible, the beautiful, the amazing. You love her. We love her. I love her like a sister. It's Eva Steele.
Hey, that's me. Good to be here with everybody again tonight. I'm just going to throw this out there. We can't find Morgan Rose.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Wait, I got a sound for that. Wait, hang on.
I apologize.
Okay, okay, so actually, I just heard from Morgan. He just texted me. He said, can't wait, buddy. So he's here. We got him.
Thank God he's going to be here. So coming up, he did just text RJ back. Thank Jesus, or whoever it is you pray to. We will have Morgan Rose on the show tonight. But before we get into that, let's throw it over to B-Rock. Check in with him.
B-Rock! How you feeling today, bud?
I tell you what, I don't feel too great. This is gonna be okay. I'm so thankful that Eva and RJ are here to help me out because I feel like shit. So,
Dude, this is what we do, man. We're a team. We got your back. I'm
Yeah,
sorry you're feeling
you guys.
under the weather, but we got your back, bud. And thank you for mustering up the courage to still be on the show. So, look at that.
let's do it.
He's still here. He's all right. So let's get to it. I want to first start by saying, I think this is what I heard. I think we're at 100 million vaccinations. 100 million vaccinations.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Oh my God, the end is near. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like
Feel it more.
I especially feel it because I last week got my very first vaccine. I'm so excited. I got my Pfizer vaccine. So Emily registered because she has asthma, and she got. So I went with her. And she just kind of asked, like, hey, you got any extras for my boyfriend? We live together. And they were so cool. They're like, come here, and they ended up giving me the shot too. So I'm very excited. And I think it's because everyone is going to have to get it eventually.
So,
and they had a
RJ,
bunch.
Did you have any side effects from that?
I just had some pain in my shoulder. That was it.
Okay.
Felt like I got punched in the shoulder. That was about it. But I think it's fine. I think it's hilarious. The other sign of good news that I'm seeing is the CDC says that we now can stand 3 feet apart. Hooray! So, we're moving in the better direction. But I think it's also adorable that the CDC is pushing public health, but also trying to put fun twists on things, like how they say, hey, if you want to hang out with your friends on St. Patrick's Day, do it over Zoom. Yeah, that's fun, right? Or if you go to Disney World, you can ride the roller coasters. Just don't scream. Okay, yeah, that's fun, right? It's like the CDC is an old high school principal trying to make education sound like fun. He's like, over spring break, you can go to the beach and have fun with your friends by doing math problems in the sand. Woo! Or over summer vacation, if you want some real action, let's do some fractions. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like they come out with sunglasses and a party horn, and they're like, yo, kids, you know what's real fire? Trigonometry. That's what they remind me. I think it's adorable, but you know what? I can't wait for them to come out and just say, like, hey guys, we're just winging it the whole time. But
Dude,
God bless them.
Did we want to introduce Buzz?
God bless them for trying.
Yeah.
Is he ready?
I think.
You mean him? Oh, yes. I'm sorry. We have another guest. See, this is why I shouldn't be in charge.
I was so confused.
Eva, why don't you mention our second guest that we have today?
We do have another guest coming on, but not right now. He will be on with us shortly. It is Dr. Buzz Mingan. We've had him on before. He's widely known as Justin Bieber's therapist. He also has a new special title.
That's kind of a B-Rock problem to bring Dr. Buzz on, but he's not quite here yet. So
that's right.
Yep, not bringing him on yet, but he is. He has a new title, Integrated Health Practitioner, which we will get into here shortly. But before we do all that, it's time for some fucks given.
All right, let's get into it.
Some people got many and others have none. We're all going crazy, so come and get one. It's Thanksgiving.
And the theme song at least eats up a good, 15 seconds of the show. So mission accomplished. All right, so let's guess. What's the first item on the docket?
Let's get into it. Corey Taylor just announced a socially distanced tour.
Yes, our good friend Corey Taylor. We love Corey. We talked about him last week, and we're talking about him again because I just love the dude. He's like one of the most humble, sweet, kind people in this business.
Well, and he's basically trying to follow CDC guidelines, but
Yeah.
I mean,
But before we get into that, let's
really
bring
difficult.
we want to bring in our producer, Dan Catullo, to talk about this with us
Right.
because he is incredibly experienced in tours. Dan, what's your take on this whole
Dan
social distance
Catullo,
bullshit?
everybody.
Look, I mean, I'm really happy that people are trying to get out there and do some shows right now. God knows we certainly need them. I don't see anything substantial though happening this year. I don't see any big concert tours out there. It's just not going to be possible.
But why, Dan? I mean, why?
Why, Dan? Why?
With the insurance and everything,
Look,
purpose.
I mean, RJ knows this, but I mean, Mark, you've been on tour with some big bands,
Right.
especially if you're working with me. But an average tour of an average arena tour will go out, and the costs are so big. You need to do at least 4 shows a week just to cover your nut. People are probably surprised to hear that these bands aren't out there making gazillions of dollars.
But
Usually, like
When
one
you
show.
talking about Corey Taylor, I mean, how?
I mean,
how can they
but
do that? I mean,
even paying the salaries because he's going to go out. If he's going to follow CDC guidelines, these venues are going to be 25 to 50% capacity. They're going to be clubs or theaters.
Yeah.
He's going to have a nut to run a tour bus is $8,000 a week.
I
To
think
hire a
he's.
crew, everything. I mean,
I think a lot of artists though are taking pay cuts and doing like no production, just keeping it real lean and mean.
that's what they're going to have to do.
Yeah, the bottom line is people just want to go out and see the bands. They don't care
Yeah.
about light shows and pyro and all that. Like it's apparently he's touring with his girlfriend's dance troupe.
His wife.
I'm sorry, his wife's right? Yeah.
Yes, Alicia Taylor. She's got
Yes.
her group, the Cherry Bombs, the
Yes, the Cherry Bombs.
rock and roll burlesque. They call themselves the darlings of rock and roll.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, and those types of shows you can do, obviously, but there's going to be some states that you can't do any shows, and there won't be public gatherings, so I have to skip over. So I would be really shocked if he had more than 3 shows a week. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Has he announced the tour dates yet?
True.
I haven't seen any tour dates. I don't know. if they're
He
up yet.
has. I mean,
Yes?
they're yeah, of course, they're Midwest, but
I told him, let me know if you're coming to
I'm
Nashville.
not sure, man. I mean, that's pretty huge.
I mean, you see, Kenny Chesney just yesterday announced that he's canceling his tour and that he's going to wait till 2022.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still too risky. And now, you look at New Jersey was supposed to open up this week. New Jersey just suspended all opening activities because of the 3 new variants that are out there, and they're starting to see people that even had the vaccine get infected. So there's still it's still a moving target. I just, personally, I don't see anything.
Well, I mean, what would
happen in the next year?
What would you do, Dan? I mean,
I look, as you guys will see in June with our Kiss movie. I mean, it's even in the trailer. I saw the trailer yesterday. It's not released yet, but there's a one-liner for me in the trailer that had we known then what we knew now, like if we knew where COVID was going to be when we put the Kiss show into motion in Dubai, we would have canceled it. We would not have tried it. I think that with everything that we know now about COVID and how to operate through it, I think that trying to do a concert tour right now is ridiculously risky.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And as much as people want to bring live music to people, I think you'll see a lot of one-offs. You'll see these scattered shows and festivals.
That's what I was just going to say. One-offs seem to be making a lot more sense right now.
But a tour, I mean, how are you going to even okay, you have your crew, even if you keep a small crew, and let's say there's 8 or 10 people in a bus. When those 8 or 10 people get to a venue and they go out and they work, they come in contact with a minimum 100 people. And those 100 people come in contact with thousands of people. So every night, everybody gets back in that bus now, theoretically being in contact with thousands of people. How the hell can a crew go on the road and not either catch it, even if they get vaccinated, not pass it on to other people? I mean, it's just, we're still in the middle of a pandemic, guys. It's just not feasible to put people on a tour bus and send a tour out.
So what I heard him say to me the other day was that his regulations are everyone has to show up with a negative COVID test, everyone has to wear a mask, and everyone has to be 6 feet apart. So it seems to me that he's doing everything he can to make sure that no one is coming in contact with anyone at these shows, and also keeping his crew and all the bands in their own bubbles so they don't interact with anybody or have to be within 6 feet of anyone.
Yeah. We've come this
but still,
far.
I mean, it's still risky.
The good news is things are much better than they were. We last year. I mean, like we as you brought up before, RJ. Like I think we rounded third base where everybody knows what it's going to take now to get us to the finish line here, and home plates are on the corner. I just think that a little more patience and everybody working together will get there. I mean, the crazy bullshit that just happened in Miami the other day during spring break. I mean, this is utter insanity. Yes. And the funny thing is, watch the TV. Do any of them look like spring breakers to you? It's like it's clearly locals and people going nuts. But it's it's sad because every time we take a step forward, we take 2 steps back. It seems. Yeah. But I do think that we will see live events this year. Just one-offs, and in areas where we're not seeing these big spikes, we'll see
Well,
concerts.
I mean,
hopefully outdoor shows too.
Everything's have to be outside. I mean,
living in where you live, basically California. I mean, have you seen a spike in anything that you've lived in? I mean, basically, that's crazy. I mean,
I mean, I was supposed to do. I did my New Year's Eve show in Dubai. We were supposed to do 6 more shows in March and April, and those shows now got postponed because they saw a spike there. And this is a country that's pretty hardcore about COVID, and they couldn't keep it under control. They saw a huge spike. So this thing still isn't over. Yeah, we still have a little more time. True. I mean, we'll get through it, but it's going to take. Yeah. Realistically, I just don't. It's too risky right now because you have to understand what goes into a tour. I mean, RJ can tell you about this, but there's rehearsals, and most bands before they even hit stage the first night are in debt thousands of dollars, tens of thousands. Some shows like a Beyonce tour will be in the hole over $1 million before they even start the tour.
See, I don't know. Corey and his band are that good that I don't think they even need to rehearse. Like, they can go out. I mean, I've done rehearsals with Corey, and they're hilarious. But he doesn't need it.
I understand Dan saying, that there's not going to be any, there probably won't be a lot of tours, probably more one-offs. However, I do think there are going to be. I've seen some festivals announced already. Like I can tell you, wasn't it Rockfest?
No,
just announced. Sturgis is happening.
I am saying it right now. Sturgis is. But I'll say it right now on the record, and this goes even for festivals I'm involved in. I doubt we will see any major music festival this year. End of story.
Well, and Shinedown just signed on for
in America, and in Europe.
Yeah, for sure.
So
it's so depressing.
At least Coachella moved.
I mean, how do you feel right now? I mean, do you obviously you?
Yeah, we have dates on the book that on the books right now that we're just kind of, keeping our ear to the ground, keeping our finger to the wind, just making sure. And see if we're going to pull the trigger on it. Cause I know that we all really want to go out and play. All of our fans really want to come out and see us.
Like, I mean, obviously you've got this.
No, I do agree. Momentum. I think safety has to come first, but I have to at least salute Corey for at least making a really big effort to do it right and do it safely. We'll see. We'll hope it works.
Guys, what Corey's doing is a whole other animal. I mean, going out with one act and doing shows for a smaller audience, that's different than a Coachella where there's 100,000 people. All right.
Oh yeah. I think those are a long way away.
The festivals that are on the book, and we all know we're all friends with them. We love Danny Wimmer. I love the Life is Beautiful guys. I think there's no way in hell. Outside Lands, those guys are great. I don't think any of that's going to happen. There's just no way by September we're going to be able to put 100,000 people anywhere. End of story. Yeah. Whether you're in Australia or anywhere, absolutely. There's no way in hell. And something that big needs to have 100,000 people at it to cover its nut.
Absolutely. And I think that this whole Corey Taylor thing is very small, very exclusive, very minimal. It's probably only going to be so many people. So you're right. He's probably not going to make any money off it, but at least it's a way for him to get out and do what he loves. Come see him.
Look, I love to see more drive-in shows.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I have.
I can't hear you. Can you go up to your mic?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. He's sick, poor guy. Oh, it's okay.
I think you'll see more drive-in shows like with Burt Kreischer and I think Sully started last year with Aaron Lewis, but we'll start seeing more of those and some more stuff. Look what they did at the Super Bowl with Miley Cyrus out in the parking lot. They successfully did that, and that was socially distanced.
Oh, that'd be killer.
You'll start to have these outdoor shows with smaller audiences, but I think the big festivals and the big stadium tours like the Luke Bryans and the Kenny Chesneys and big Metallica shows, you're just not going to see those till next year. I think the sooner that people come to grip with that, the sooner.
Dan, what would you like to see? I mean, obviously,
I look for it to be back to normal. I mean,
of course you would, but
I did one big show in a year. I mean, so I clearly don't like this.
Metallica.
Yeah. I mean, all of us do.
That's not going to be for like 2 years, right? I mean, come on.
We shall see. All to be determined. That is for sure.
I want to get Buzz's take on this, actually, because he is an actual doctor.
For sure, dude.
I'm gonna buzz off because we have the real Buzz. That's the way
Fuck yeah,
we did it there.
How are you doing, buddy?
Oh my God! Okay, well, it's time for B-Rock's special moment, and it goes like
A
this.
5 and a 4 and a 3, 2, 1. Come on, B-Rock, let's have some fun.
And it was B-Rock's idea to reach
Buzz,
out to
how
our
are you, buddy?
repeat
It's so
offender,
good to see you.
friend of Stop, Drop, and Talk, Dr. Buzz Minkin, everybody. Welcome back to Stop, Drop, and Talk, buddy. Good to have you.
Hey, man, I'm so excited to be back. Eva, you look fantastic, by the way.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
She does, man.
She always does.
Hey, you know what was I got to say it was painful. As much as I hate to say it, Dan has been like spot on with all of his predictions.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of this pandemic. I can't. I honestly.
I'm sorry.
What the fuck was that, Dan?
I don't like the voice of doom, but I honestly don't think we're going to see big shows till next year.
Every single thing that you said was going to happen or you predicted was going to has been spot on. It's crazy, man.
Unfortunately, you're right.
It's not an issue of the pandemic or what's safe or not. It comes down to insurance. No one's going to go out and spend big money without insurance. And the insurance companies are not going to insure anything until they're absolutely positive.
Oh, bullshit.
Well, congratulations, Dan. You were right.
Hey, Dan, you know what? You know what the other threat is, and I've seen this happen before too. People are coming from other countries. People are coming from South America to come to like Miami to see a concert. They're going to not want to put out the money for hotel tickets and all that, with the possibility that it might not happen, right? So I think you're right.
The reason why you're seeing a lot of promoters.
I want to introduce him professionally, if that's okay.
Real quick, the reason I'm going to get off in a second, but the reason why you're seeing promoters put tickets on sale is because if they can sell all the tickets and then they have it locked in, and then if they just have to postpone it a few months, it's either a force majeure or they're just postponing, but they don't have to refund the money. And their event's actually real. But if they hold off, if they say we're postponed this year, there's no revenue. So you're seeing a lot of people put tickets on sale, in my opinion, on events that aren't going to happen.
Right.
I guarantee you. People are collecting millions of dollars in tickets, and they know there's no fucking way in hell their show's gonna happen in August or July. And then what they're gonna do is they're gonna wait till 2 weeks before it's saying, oh God, because of COVID, we have to now postpone it, and then they're going to push the damn thing till next year, and they're going to hold on to your fucking money. Mark my words.
Well, we're gonna see if he's right, and we're gonna talk about some ways that everybody's coping. And but before we get into that, B-Rock wants to introduce Buzz professionally.
Yeah, Dr. Buzz.
Oh, yes.
We've got integrated. Geez, this is crazy. Integrated health practitioner, Dr.
Yes,
Buzz.
sir.
So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I am a practitioner of what we call 360 health. So it's looking at the gut, looking at the brain, looking at the psychological aspect. It's very anatomical, but we look at the whole body and we don't chase symptoms. We're not looking to just prescribe, get people on meds just to get them to feel better. We're looking for the precursor that starts this whole string of events. So that's what I do. And
so how do you process that? How do you start from beginning to end?
In what way? Like with a client, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, you've helped me so much, man. I mean,
you've been great, by the way.
Oh man, you've been so awesome. But
This dude is amazing.
Like A to Z, like how you kind of do that.
So I have what I call 7 buckets that make up the rain barrel. So the buckets are it's biological, psychological, social, spiritual, functional, structural, and occupational. insults, right? So there's 7 buckets. So I use those buckets and investigate all of them, and they can get really deep. I mean, if you look at the anatomical, which is the biological side, I use SPECT imaging of the brain, which is using a radioactive tracer. We go in and we look and we can see what's going on. Oh, that's sweet. And it could be, lab work. It could be, we use a mechanism, machine, an instrument called the quantitative EEG. Can't tell you how many rock stars we get that people think are bipolar. They've been in and out of clinics, and then we do this QEEG on them, and we just find it's trauma. Like 9 times out of 10, it's trauma. And
Yeah.
a lot of it's career driven, missing families, terrible things that have happened when they were, people were young. But the labs don't lie. That's the name of the game. And one of the things I always say to my colleagues is that we can't rely sometimes, sadly, on our clients' input, because when they're not stable, they're not always, it's not that they're trying to lie, they're just not stable. They're not making sense. So in my world as an integrative health practitioner, we dive in and really look at really what's going on that might be driving the person's function.
God, that's just absolutely amazing. You guys are just doing such incredible work. I mean, I nerd out on that stuff. I know a lot of, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, RJ. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're fine. We were just talking about concerts, and I know a lot of people go to concerts as it's there regularly because it's therapeutic for them. We got a lot of fans that are repeat offenders at all of our shows that go there because it's therapeutic for them. And now that that's all taken away, what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, so that's a tough one because people get what I call a dopamine rush.
Yep.
So dopamine's that reward system,
Okay.
and dopamine's manufactured in your gut, right? So it races up to your brain, and you have some of it in your brain, but most of it's manufactured in your gut. But when you get that rush, I always say it's like winning the Super Bowl with the game-winning catch. So when they're watching you, RJ, hitting the drums up on the stage, or
when I throw a stick in the air and I actually catch it, and it doesn't fall on the floor. Yeah.
Listen, people love if you don't catch it. It makes you real, man. It makes you like,
you just play it off like, hey.
Yeah, because you're a real dude. That's what we love.
Right?
Right? This guy, everything's not scripted, man. He can make things happen like the rest of us. But
just like Stop, Drop, and Talk, nothing is scripted. Hey! Exactly.
So we need to replace that. We got to find other things that jump in that we can supplement that's going to replace those concerts, and
okay, so what do you got for us? Like what can we do right now?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you right off the top what most people have lost focus on, and I know this is going to sound really corny, but the first thing that everyone should be doing or should have done is been Zooming each other to have dinner together, even family you haven't talked to, right?
Yeah.
Like you reach out to your grandparents, your uncles, your cousins, even the ones you never wanted to have dinner with and didn't invite over, even on like Christmas Eve or whatever your holiday is. But now's the time to do it because you can cut it short. You can schedule it in your Zoom for 30 minutes and it just goes blank after 30 minutes.
I gotta go, Grandma.
It's that connection, man. We call that an oxytocin moment where people want to just like hug. Like, so if we were live right now, if I was in a studio with you guys, what is the first thing that would happen non-COVID when I walk in?
I would hug you. Oh.
I'm not a hugger, but I would hug you guys.
She'd high five you.
Yeah, listen, she would hug.
I would hug.
You feel it because it's the connection.
Yeah.
Like, truthfully, RJ, you being an entertainer, people go to watch you. And I'm saying this sincerely, not because I'm on with you. And, I treat and help tons of entertainers. But I would have to say people go to the concert. They feel like they're sitting in your living room with you.
Yeah.
And they feel that connection. That's called an oxytocin moment. So when your serotonin levels are up, which is your feel-good sensation, right? They're the chemicals that make you feel satisfied. When your GABA levels are up, which is what prevents or prevents anxiety or creates resilience. So people are not walking around anxious all the time. And your dopamine levels are up, which means you're feeling rewarded. When those 3 chemicals are maximized, then you have an oxytocin moment. That's how you get your oxytocin up. And you notice that people love, when they're feeling good, people want to hug, man. And unfortunately, what's going on in the streets or whatever, you guys were talking about. People are acting out. They're just trying to vibe most of the times. They're all got beers. They're trying to celebrate. but you can't hug because you're not allowed. So they're just acting out like children.
That's something that's also very depressing to us, is because we always love doing meet and greets at our shows, and that's probably something that's not going to happen.
Wow, I didn't know.
We
I have the best meet and greet pictures of you.
People, I know you were that one, and even I talk about this too, because Eva's also an entertainer, and all of us actually technically are now entertainers, and luckily with this show we have something to get it out, and we have a way for people to kind of interact with us and kind of be with us through it. So, we're doing the best we can.
Listen, the first thing people need to do is wheel in the people that they're closest to and spend more time. It's a very easy connection with Zoom. So whoever created or invented Zoom, Einstein move, brilliant, but people need to take advantage of that. The other thing is people need sunlight, man, vitamin D. Get the hell out of the house.
Well, dude,
yes.
do you have any like techniques to rub down?
Oh, what can we do right now?
All right, let's do some stuff right now.
Oh, this is great. All right.
So number one is your breathing. Everyone's breathing should be twice as long coming out of your mouth.
What should we do though? I mean, should we breathe right now?
Hey, listen to him.
Yeah. I'm going to share. I'll give you the structure and then we'll follow. Right.
Break it down for us.
So when you're breathing in through your nose, so the average person's breathing in half a second to a second, and they're pumping air out twice as fast. What we want to do is train our bodies to bring the air in through our nose and then out our mouth. Ideally, it's out your nose as well, but we're not there yet. Okay. Twice as long. So if we breathe in, let's try this. Ready? Let's do like 2 rounds of it. We're going to breathe in. I'm going to say, and go. And I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. You're going to take it in. And I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait till you see how hard this is, right?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Ready?
And you at home, try this right now with us.
Everybody.
I'm going to pretend to touch my face. I can't touch my face.
All right, so we're going to do another when I'm going to build the havening tool with you, because I'm a certified havening practitioner. We're going to teach that tool. You know what? And Brock knows that kid. I forgot you knew that, Brock. So we'll do that now.
About it. Okay.
All right, so let's get the breathing first. Ready? So, and in 1, 2, 3, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In,
Release that.
2,
Release that.
3, out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This is so hard.
It's hard, right?
Oh my God. I'm out of air.
All right. So that's number one problem, because we're all mouth breathers. And if you live on the East Coast, like New Jersey, New York, which is where I am, everyone talks so fast and eats without even taking a moment to breathe through their nose.
Right.
The problem is when you breathe rapidly like that, it's called labored breathing. Your cortisol levels go up, which is your fight or flight. Your adrenal glands kick off cortisol. So your cortisol go up almost like you're ready to brawl with somebody, and it makes people stressed out. Now, if you're in the house and you're cruising around, or even if you're bored and you have nothing going on, I can tell you that there is a 99.99% chance that you are not properly breathing. So we want to do what's called rhythmic breathing. Rhythmic. So the rhythmic breathing is what you create as a structure. So let's say you're breathing 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out. Even to start doing that drops your cortisol levels. Yeah, you see me right here.
Yeah, there you are.
This is called havening. Wow. So havening is fascinating. I havened this lady. She was having anxiety. This was like February of last year. And, they were in Manhattan at the clinic, and I havened her because she was feeling really overwhelmed walking down the streets, because it was like, everyone was stressed out in Manhattan. And it wasn't a surprise that the numbers launched quicker in New York and New Jersey, because everyone in New York and New Jersey hug. We hug people we don't even know. You're standing waiting for the train and you're vibing, hugging. Oh yeah. People. Yo, man, where'd you get the jacket? Oh, I love it. And
it's like an ant. It's like an anthill. Like everyone's just all on top of each other. Yeah,
it is. Right. It's our culture, though. That's the way we roll on this side.
I really feel bad for people in New York over this pandemic. I know a lot of our team is in New York, and they really were feeling it.
RJ, it's like no one on the street either.
I know. Oh,
it's like The Walking Dead. It's like everyone's inside, afraid to walk out on the street like something terrible is going to happen, which it has happened. But
but before we let you go, though, can you give us one more exercise that we can do, that we can incorporate into
yeah,
our
so
daily
here we
lives?
go. So if you are watching, we want to do this havening technique. If you don't mind touching your face, if you're all made up and you look amazing like Eva, you can use your shoulders to your elbows.
Oh, okay.
So it would be the same breathing. So you close your eyes, take one deep breath in, and out with your mouth. And either your hairline to your jawline.
Oh, that is nice.
And here's what you want to do. So you do affirmational breathing, which is really good for calming down stress.
Wow.
So it would use all positive phrases like, I feel calm. I am safe. My family loves me. Whatever you feel, touring is coming sooner than later. I am a fantastic drummer.
Oh,
I change people's lives.
yes, I need this. I need
Right?
I need all this. Okay.
We have the evidence to show that raises those three chemicals in your brain. It's a
Man,
fascinating toolkit.
That is so amazing to hear, because
You're one of my favorites to bring on all the time, by the way.
Yes, I talked about this last week. I
You're
nearly had
the best, Eva.
I nearly had like an anxiety attack 2 weeks ago. So these are great things that I'm going to incorporate into my life. And
I heard about that, RJ. You're very concerned, very genuine team was just like, man, we love this guy. We just want to make sure he's happy and healthy. And so the word we use is resilient, because if you're resilient, right, you can break through anything, man. Nothing's going to slow you down. Even a disease won't take you. So this helps build resilience. I'm going to say the last thing, your gut. And people need to eat right. The gut is the
100%
of everything. Your brain is your second brain. Your gut's your first brain.
yes,
The West,
Prebiotics, probiotics, all of it.
all of it.
and go gluten free, right?
Gluten-free,
Yes.
organic, grass-fed.
Yes.
We could do hours on this. I mean, I can't. Listen.
We should do a special episode over just this.
Oh my God,
We
Buzz,
should.
I hope that we have you on over and over and over again. We're about out of time. Thank you so much for coming on here. We got to get to Morgan, but man, like we literally could talk to you for hours about this.
Listen, I love you guys. I believe in you. I love your podcast. Everyone that listens, they know how real you guys are. It's always an honor to be on. You ever need anything, you've got me. And Brock, thank you for using the Dr. Buzz method, because you're an ambassador of health, my man.
Yes, and he will start feeling better soon.
Been
But before we
amazing,
go,
so.
I want everyone to follow your social media and everything that you're posting, everything you're putting up, to do such a great positive change in people's lives.
Dr. Buzz Minkin.
Yeah, Mingin. Follow me. They're all tools. I'm not on there dancing and telling jokes, man. It's straight tools.
Yes. And so everybody follow that. Like, check out the tools that he can offer you. And Buzz, let's bring you on again for sure, like very soon.
Hey, listen, RJ,
Yes,
in
for
closing, the answer is yes. Anytime you guys want me. RJ, what first time in history, my wife was walking past us when we were on Zoom the other day. And what did she give me permission to do? Do you remember?
On this, yeah.
All right, ready? First time ever. My
What?
wife's walking by.
That's amazing.
And she just listened to RJ talk because he's such just a sincere guy. And she says,
Aw.
you tell that guy, Buzz can tour with him anytime.
Yes.
RJ
Oh,
wants.
that's cool.
Yes,
That's
come on the
cool.
road with us.
First
That's
time in
awesome.
history. First time, because anytime I was asked to go on tour with people, I always say, oh, you're not going out with that.
Honestly, Buzz, I want
That's
you to come on
amazing.
tour with us, and I want you to go up on the mic and open up the show and offer people some really helpful
I would
tools.
do that.
You know, you need to go on. You need to do a tour yourself.
Yeah, listen, we'll have an oxytocin concert, man. We'll have a
Yes!
dopamine rush, right?
Awesome.
Let's make that happen, Buzz.
Let's
I love you,
do
brother.
it.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. I can't wait to have you back so we can talk
Yes,
more
sir.
about this. Dr. Buzz Minkin,
So good to
everybody.
see you, Buzz.
Good to
Buzz,
see
I
you,
love
my
you.
love. Oh, I
All
love
right,
him
it
so
is
much.
time now. We got someone at the door.
I think it's time for our very
cool.
special guest to one of the most insane drummers in the universe of all time. There he is!
Morgan
Oh my God, Morgan! I miss you, dude.
I love you so
Oh,
much,
dude,
buddy.
Thank you so
Vir-
much.
virtual
for
hug.
coming on the show.
Damn,
Virtual hug.
Last
I
time I
know,
saw
man.
you, I was like, I was pretty drunk on a tour bus with you, but
Oh my God.
Which tends to
Imagine
happen
that.
on a Sevendust tour bus. So
Oh
yeah.
my God. Yeah. Imagine that.
Oh my God, how are you holding up, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm surprisingly well, as mental as I can be. It's a trip. I'm
I
doing
hear
pretty
you.
good.
I hear you, dude. We're
I
all
just
feeling
That
it.
is
flew home
amazing.
today.
Oh, you just flew home from where?
Yeah, I was in Illinois. I went up there. I do like some producer stuff up there and co-writes, and
Oh,
we do
nice.
this little Instamix thing up there. So I went up there for like 5 days, and they're half the people over there in Iowa are like licking doorknobs and stuff, and
Hey,
they're
that's
like,
so funny. I'm in South Dakota. We're not that far from Iowa. In fact, the last
That's for South Dakota.
fuck off, RJ. The last time I saw you was in Sturgis at Iron Horse Saloon.
oh wow, yeah, that
Yes,
was a few years ago.
Yeah.
it was a few years ago. I was working.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I remember that.
That's
It was a
amazing,
good
man.
time. That was a crazy crowd. And we're bringing that back to South Dakota this year. Believe it or not, we're doing it again.
It's crazy. I mean, hopefully it'll be like happening. Like
Oh, it's on. We did it. We even did it last year.
I knew that, and I knew that there was all kinds of crazy talk and crazy numbers and stuff, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure out how how they figure that out. Like, how do you really know how many people were really, involved in, secondary, affiliation or whatever. It's like, but it was, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I have somebody super close to me that is in ICU right now. When I had gone through the last, month or so, kind of semi out of sight, out of mind, where it's like, oh, I haven't heard of, a lot of horrible shit happening lately. And then all of a sudden, he's in ICU today.
Oh,
So yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
Oh God.
yeah. Hopefully he'll be all right. I mean, it's wild. I'm going to get my shot on Wednesday.
Yay!
Yeah.
I just got mine.
Yeah.
What kind are you getting?
They don't tell you here.
What?
They wait until you get there and they go, congratulations, you're getting,
Surprise.
Moderna, or you're getting Pfizer.
Pfizer,
you're
yeah.
getting
I got the
Johnson & Johnson.
Pfizer. I'm getting my second Pfizer in April. So congrats, man. It's at least assuring to like know that the end is nigh.
Yeah.
So speaking of health things, you had a health scare a while ago, but moving on from that, we see that you're making like tons of crazy changes, and actually congrats on 40 out of 40 days of working out.
Yeah.
That is
Pelotoning?
awesome. So how has
Peloton, right?
that experience kind of changed your perspective on how you're doing things now?
Well, so here's the story. I haven't told anybody about it. I was like, people were probably wondering. I mean, there's usually some sort of event, that forces somebody into a change like that. I mean, today I got off the plane and literally, like, I got to my house and I put my bags in and went straight to the gym, So I was going to stop at 40 and I was like, I think I'm going to try to go to 100, but it's really has zero to do with this, and really all to do with that,
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
100%.
I mean, for me,
That's why I do it.
so I mean, it was what happened was I like to gamble, like that is of all the shit that you could really be addicted to or really get gassed up on and really get you going, it's gambling.
That's a
And
real thing.
yeah, and it's definitely serious. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I never looked at it like, I mean, I never had an issue with like, it wasn't a money issue. It wasn't like, oh God, I just spent all my money, I can't pay my bills. It wasn't, I've spent my kids' college fund, it was nothing like that. It was something that was happening to me mentally where I just was neglecting life, and it would be to the point where I could be at my house by myself and I'd wake up in the morning and go, okay, what am I going to do today? And I'd kind of like shit around and watch some TV for a little while. Then it'd be like 11 and I'd be like, I better go get something to eat. And I'd leave and go get some food. Maybe I'd go to the gym. Maybe I'd take a walk, but probably not. And then I'd come back and I would be like, okay, well, it's 2:00. So I'll start looking and see who's playing tonight and start looking into, who's hurt and who's, find out if I got any inside scoop on anybody and start putting a team together for like DraftKings or FanDuel or sports betting. And that would be my normal day. And then after that, I would, go and eat, and then I'd come back and I'd watch the games, and then I'd go to sleep and I'd wake up and I'd go, what am I gonna do today? I guess I'll watch some TV, and then I would do the same shit. Like every day was like that. Then I would end up somewhere like Illinois or something, and I'd stay at a casino. And then I was completely off the reservation. You know, at that point, I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing here. Like, I'm going to work.
Tables and slots and all of it.
Yeah.
Psycho.
Yeah.
So I won big money, like like more money in there than I did playing drums.
Oh yeah.
And, you know,
It's easy to get addicted when that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, when you hit, when you're playing DraftKings and they go, here's $50,000 you just won, or you hit a button on a slot machine that goes, there's $16,000.
Holy!
I mean, it was happening like that.
See, I don't.
Well,
have that.
and to be,
I can turn $20 into $0 super quick in Vegas
in like 35 seconds. But in order to be winning that big, for those that don't know, you got to be putting a lot into it too.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the funny thing about it. I won't get into real numbers, but the number was large that I thought I won, because I had if I was really psychotic, I would go into the living room and show you the tickets that I have, because it's alarming. But just the ticket slips from winning jackpots is like a box full of them, so each one of these things is $14,000 to $20,000, and there's hundreds of them.
Jesus.
Well,
wow.
Just to say this, I lost money last year.
Oh yeah.
So winning all that money, and I actually lost money. So anyway, the point is that I basically shut everything off. So I'd go to work and I'd be, producing a band, or I'd be doing a co-write, and I could catch myself like looking at my watch, like, how much longer am I going to be here before I'm going to go back to my hotel where I can start being completely out of my mind? And so this went on for a while, and then I started lying about it, and it just got really weird. So I decided I'm going to stop this. I got called out. My therapist was like, I said, man, I don't have a problem with this. I pay my bills, dog, and everybody's good. Everybody's good, man. I'm winning money, man. Look at all the money I'm winning. It was like completely not even on the same page as the rest of the world. Right. And he said, hey, Morgan, hold up. I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he goes, you're a gambling addict. And I'm like, huh?
Epiphany.
Goes, yeah, like immediately. So my girlfriend had been like trying to hint without calling me out. And so I was like, oh shit, I'm an addict, like I need help maybe. So I wake up, and instead of what am I going to do? I'm going to, go get something, watch some TV, go get something to eat, look at the computer, put a team together. I woke up and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I've gotten to the point where I don't like to do anything else. So what am I going to do? I don't know what to do with my life.
I'm curious if you talked about, and by the kudos to you for going to a therapist, because I have been an advocate for that forever. I go to it. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. So does Eva. We're all about it. We just had one of our good friends who is a brilliant guy, Dr. Buzz Mingan. He was talking about.
Do you follow him?
Yeah.
I'm going to, because I was sitting here.
He's incredible.
He's absolutely brilliant.
So I couldn't breathe, man, and I was watching him, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing, So I'll definitely be following him.
One of the things that he talks about with a lot of performers, and we've talked about this, is when you're used to going on stage every night and getting that response, that
the dopamine rush.
The dopamine rush. And now that it's been taken away since the pandemic,
you're echoing, my dude.
Oh, sorry. Has this been something that's been, it happens. Has this been something that's been going on for a long time, or is this something that's gotten worse since the touring stopped?
Yeah, it's been there for a long time. It's like when we would be, how it is, you're playing different towns, and you might even be playing a casino at some point, but either way, we'd go into a town and somebody would come up in the bus and they'd be like, hey, dude, they got casinos here. Like it was like part of the thing. Like, Morgan likes to gamble. Hey, man, he'll be happy there's casinos here.
Yeah.
And I never even thought anything about that until this happened. And then I was like, man, people have been knowing this about me. I mean, we'd do Shiprocked and people would come into the bar and it'd be, or into the casino, and it'd be like, we knew we'd find you here.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it was
So-
a known thing. That was where I was
So
going to
going
be.
forward with these, with hopefully, obviously, like Dan was just saying earlier, probably no big arena tours this year, but shows and traveling. If you end up at a casino, how do you cope? How do you deal?
Well, I just was in Illinois, and so I was staying at this casino, and I was one of the high limit people there. So they were giving me like multiple rooms on the top floor, suites that were bigger than where I live, and all on the house. Like everything's free.
Wow.
And dinner is in a 5-star restaurant. Everything's free. Bring all your people. You know, like we want all your money. So just eat for free and get on downstairs and give us all the money. And so I was like, I can't stay there, dude. Like I definitely can't stay there. I'm not prepared for that yet. I think I'm done, but I'm not prepared to be like listening to the bells going off.
Yeah. Like,
And
it all goes back in the house, right?
yeah,
The house always wins.
absolutely.
I know a lot of people that do that. One of a really good friend of our mutual friend, Corey Taylor, I won't say who, but he told me about for years, he was just gambling was his career. He was living the high life. And then all of a sudden, poof, it all just went away.
Yeah,
And he had to
it
stop.
happens quickly, you know, and without warning. So it's like they put me in this, you know, into a regular hotel, and my whole thing was I'd been in the gym for about maybe 12 days, because that first day in the gym was really just for me to go to kill some time, because I started to panic. You know, I was like sitting on my bed going, I have nowhere to go. I don't know what to do. I don't want to do what I've been doing. So what do I do? And I didn't know what to do. So I was like, well, I know I can go to the gym, and maybe over that hour that I'm there, I'll figure something out. And I went to the gym and felt great. Like
So
it did
it's
something.
a way
to
for
me.
you to channel that energy into something healthy.
Right. I'm addicted to the gym now.
Yeah, that's great. And that's I mean, all things to be addicted to. We had the same conversation with Matt Pinfield the other day. He was dealing with the same exact thing. And he had a really bad car accident. He was in the hospital. Kind of a similar story to you, because so like since you've been out of the hospital, what steps have you been taking have you been really focusing on your health from now on?
I mean, you know, my girlfriend is like a thoroughbred. You know, she's like off the damn charts, she's in better shape than anyone that I know. And so I had known her for a really long time. And then like in January, we started to date, and I went to Los Angeles. She lives in LA. And I went there. I was only supposed to be there for 3 days. And then I was coming to New York for some meetings up there. And I went there on March 6th. I was supposed to leave the 9th. They canceled the meetings, and I ended up staying in LA for 2 months. So like we were barely dating, and then all of a sudden it's like pandemic hits, and I'm living in Los Angeles for 2 months.
Yep.
And so that was like, I knew that I had the right support system with her. No question.
Yeah,
you know, it was like, she doesn't drink at all, no drugs, never, you know, she's just, you know, the epitome of health.
Dude, your situation is exactly like mine, because I met my girl like maybe a couple months before the pandemic hit, and then we started dating, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here we are. But same situation. She doesn't drink. She's super responsible, and it's healthy. It's
a necessity, you know, for me. It's like, I'm at least at this point in my life and where I'm at with it all, it's like I feel really confident, you know. I mean, I have a super, you know, heavy duty support system, and, you know, I have Clint, who's my best friend, and, you know, he's gone through a lot in his life, and he's obviously, you know, they should do a movie about that dude.
Dude, he's like Rocky, that guy. Like I've seen him transform into many different shapes, and the shape he's in now he's jacked. He's got like an 8-pack, and he runs like 10 miles a day. Him and John, like the two of them are freaks.
Yeah, it's freaks. I mean, those guys, I'm not going that route like that. I go to the gym, you know, once I get to where I'm like, I'm not even like, I'll probably end up being the dude that goes to the gym, you know, and I've got a fucking, you know, Italian sausage and some, you know, and a cheeseburger in both hands. And I'm just walking around the gym talking to people. You know, I might not even work out, but I'll go to the gym.
The other thing too is that your style of playing, and I know I relate to this, because we're some crazy drummers. We like to go nuts on stage, but you go crazy nuts on stage. And is your health also like? Are you also trying to be able to continue to play the way you play without being in severe pain? Because things are starting to hurt me too. So
yeah, dude, I can imagine. You're insane. You know,
well, you're insane. So
I mean,
thanks, bud. That means a lot.
Oh, you're amazing. You know, and I've always looked at you and said, I mean, I love you to death, and you know that. And we go
I
all
love
the
you
way
too,
back.
man.
You were just a young buck, and I'm like, he's gonna feel it. Like, there's only a few of us, you know, that it's just like, I know there's a lot of drummers that play hard and stuff, but there's a few of us, you know, that have been doing it for a long time, and it's like it does something. I mean, I'm in pain all the time, you know, and I never liked pills, so there was never going to be any like relief in that fashion. So I go, you know, a lot of chiropractic and massage stuff and do.
Have you
all
tried
that.
all the hype of the
CBD?
The cream, the pain cream?
The pain cream is something that you know, I probably should be all over that. I've got all my friends are like, they die. They're like, this is it, man. This saves everything.
Wow,
so
really?
They do. They say that that's the way to go.
It's crazy because like my whole life I've been a dancer and a hairstylist for the last 15 years. And we go hard when we're on stage. And so it's like you're like the neck is the worst.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, like the hair whips and the head banging and everything that's going on.
Well, with drummers too, that's kind of the only place you can really rock out is banging your head, you know. So your neck gets the most of it. And I know our friend Shannon has been very open about the issues that he has with his health and everything. Do you have any new routines now for on tour every single night to make sure that you're able to perform without hurting yourself?
You know, the funny thing is, I did this thing with Roy. Like Shannon and Roy are two of my favorite people on earth, and I did this thing with Roy and Abe, and we were talking about injuries, and so Roy spoke about his situation as well.
Yeah,
and it did freak me out because it's like those guys are like my brothers, and we're all about the same age, and we've all been going about the same length.
Yeah,
and if you really think about it, I don't think there's three people that play harder than the three of us at this age.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
You know, I mean, there's definitely, you know, there's definitely guys like you that can make us go, Jesus Christ, man! Like, I can't go like that anymore.
My time is coming. I know it. You know,
it's like
I'm not getting any younger,
dude. You're still a baby, and it's like, but it does happen. You know,
I just look like it.
You look great, by the way.
Thank you.
Water. But it's like, yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, that the only thing I can tell you is that I never knew, like, I talked to my doctor and I was like, dude, I got two guys that had a situation and we all play the same way. Like, the three of us are at this age, we're the ones that have played for this long, this hard, like this. I'm freaked out, you know, because I've had some weird moments and I've felt super weird after shows before where, you know, one side of my face is numb and, you know, one of my eyes is closing and, you know, weird shit, you know,
like vertebrae and nerves and all that stuff getting messed up in there. And, you know, a lot of that stuff can even cause, obviously you guys know, you know, the vertigo and it actually even like anxiety, like all of it goes hand in hand.
I mean, I've got anxiety. I used to have panic attacks when I was 17. I thought I was just going to kill myself because there was no way I was going to live like that. And, and now I have anxiety, and your doc was on there a minute ago with the breathing thing.
Yeah.
And that's really the thing, you know, real quick. The thing that I did learn about from Roy was those guys like to play up here.
Yeah.
And even though I play like this, everything I'm hitting is down. I sit high.
My shit's low too.
Yours low too. So we hit down on everything.
I like my shit flat.
Yes, me too. So I like it flat, low. We're up above everything. We're hitting down on everything.
Yeah.
There's something apparently that happens when the stuff is up above you and you're hitting it up here that is doing more damage.
Really?
It's doing more damage back here. Yes.
Wow. Oh, RJ, your mom just commented. She said,
By the way, my mom says hi, Morgan.
I love her.
She
Hi,
says,
Mom.
Hey, Mama.
He says RJ looked up to Morgan when he was just a young teen, and it was so wonderful how he treated him when they met.
My mom's spilling the tea. I could gush about you guys for hours because real quick, I'll keep it really condensed, but you guys were one of the first national bands that me and my sister ever met, really. And the way that you guys treated us with so much respect, you treated us like gold. The first time we saw you guys was at the Chameleon Club in Lancaster. And, I mean, now that I'm kind of in your position, at least where you were at that time right now, career span wise, I know what it's like to have like bands outside of your bus with a demo and the importance of going to talk to them and say hi to them and treat them like gold, because we learned it from you guys, because you guys were that way to us. You guys brought us in the bus. You took our demo. You guys gave us backstage passes. And then while we're waiting side stage for you guys to go on, you guys play one of the songs off the CD that we gave you. And I'm just like, oh, no. And we're so young. We're like, oh, that must be the way it is. That's the way we've got to be when we're finally at this stage. But it's not that way with a lot of bands. You guys are a rare exception.
Absolutely.
So I've got a little surprise for you guys.
Thank you, man.
For both of you. We're going to bring in Dr. Buzz Mingan. We're going to bring him back because he knows all about the neck stuff.
All right. Help us out. Do it. Spill the tea, Buzz.
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Morgan, what's up, sir?
How are you, buddy?
Yeah, you're the best, buddy. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely.
All right, so you ready for this?
Watching you.
I see this stuff with drummers. The C1 bone on the top of your neck, on the top of your vertebrae, is called your atlas. That bone only weighs 2.5 ounces. When people whip their neck, and as you're saying, you're looking up, right? It's that mobility restriction causes the atlas to move. And what it does is it stays in that position and it restricts blood flow going from your vertebrae. It's called your glymphatic system. It restricts blood flow going up your vertebrae into your brain. And then it restricts the cranial cervical fluid that's supposed to leave at night. So you're not gaining blood and you're not losing toxicity. And the number one symptom that happens with people that have that is anxiety and vertigo.
That's
it. Can I touch on that for a second? Can I touch on that for a second? I had that exact same problem. I went to a couple chiropractors. My vertebrae was so twisted, they were adjusting the wrong side of my neck because they never did x-rays.
All right, so hey, Morgan, so here's the biggest part. To get that treated, you don't even go to a chiropractor. This is not what they do. You go to what's called an atlas orthogonal doctor. So they have a machine.
He's like, hold on, let me write this down.
I'll text it to you.
I got people.
Can you text it to me?
I'll text it to you.
Up, man. I got you covered because this will relieve everything. And you know who's the greatest example of this? Do you guys remember Jim McMahon, the quarterback?
Oh yeah. They do the thing. That's the thing with the tuning rod.
Oh, I've seen the
yes. They put it right under the ear.
Yes.
Yeah.
They step on a button. It vibrates the atlas back into its place, and immediately you feel all that toxic fluid.
Oh my God, you're describing my experience. However, I did find there's a very specific method of chiropractor called a Gonstead method chiropractor that adjusted my atlas. And as soon as he did it, my entire face got beet red and I felt dizzy and drunk. And I was like, oh my God. And he's like, blood flow. He goes, blood flow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Freaks me out, man.
No, it's amazing.
That's wild.
We need to correct you because it's so easy to do. And can I tell you, it's non-intrusive. You don't even feel it. It's a vibration. It goes in and it goes boom, and right on the spot. You don't even know what happens. But the trick is, which a lot of people don't know, you have to go for like 12 or 15 visits. So it's like 3 times a week because your neck muscles will keep that atlas where it was, and it's going to want to pull it back.
Do they do or recommend heavy massage in this area to try, like rolfing, to try to loosen these muscles so that they don't keep that tension in there?
It's got to be right. You got to get the direction based on what we call the insult of the neck. Because I go through this all the time with athletes, man. I can't even. Wow. Wow, there it is.
That was,
Yes.
I think I've
Oh, we
seen
have the
that
best of the
before.
best producer.
Man. Yo, you guys move like lightning, man. You guys are so fast with the.
Have you ever seen Morgan play, Buzz?
You know what? I've heard of his name. I heard he's badass.
Look up
I
some
heard he's like
videos,
the
man.
ninja master of drums.
Dude,
But I've never seen him.
I said this to Jacoby. I said this to Sully. When the thing about Sevendust, they have this special power that not a lot of bands have. When they are on stage, where is every other band on the bill?
At the drum risers.
They're side stage watching Sevendust because they are so good.
It's amazing.
And this dude is a maniac, you know. So, so I'll take any advice that you guys can give.
Yeah, man, I'll take the advice. The thing is, if that fluid came out of me, it's been in there so long, it shit would be like motor oil coming out.
Oh yeah, I bet you it's like a fish tank that hasn't been filtered in like 10 years.
Oh my god!
Totally.
But imagine how much clearer and better you'd feel.
Oh
God,
man, it's I gotta tell you, when I do this for people, they're like, it's the most powerful night of sleep they'll get in a long time. Because a lot of people have disrupted sleep because that fluid is pulling, it's gathering, right?
Yeah.
All right, Morgan, we're going together. It's a date.
I want to do it.
Yeah, we can have we can do like a field trip.
Do you
Let's
do
have
it?
a field trip.
You don't do it though.
I don't do
haven't.
it, but where do you what state do you live in?
Georgia. Well, Georgia and LA.
Listen, I get your contact. I'll get you a specialist who's the best in your area. I know all the top people in this business because I do a lot of like NFL athletes and stuff, and this is commonly the problem. And I actually wanted to challenge the NFL with the concussion debate because the big thing when people were being diagnosed post-mortem, right? When the people are dying and then they get their brains dissected and they find out they had CTE. That's from having no blood flow to that area of the brain. Any organ that doesn't get blood flow dies. And what people are not recognizing that most of these ball players are getting just from whipping your neck. It's from whiplash. It doesn't have to be from a car accident. Look at here we go, man.
Yeah, there he is.
Man, that's a lot of. How many pieces is that? Jesus.
Oh, he's got a bazillion pieces.
I have seen Morgan play. I can tell you it's intense.
Dude.
Morgan, how many years have you been playing?
Oh God. My dad got me I'm 52 and my dad got me a kit when I was 5. So I was retired at 6 and then I
47 years?
It's been well, I was a drummer at 5 and then I was retired at 6 and then I picked it back up when I was like 16.
This is superhuman. Seriously.
Listen, I think it's amazing.
So 36 years.
Listen, RJ, even statistically, what are the chances that his neck isn't screwed up? Like, what are the chances?
I mean, shoulder
0 out of 0.
I'm sure that you probably have. I mean, my right shoulder is fucked. My right elbow and my right wrist. My whole right side is fucked.
So I got an MRI on this one because I was like, I just can't fucking function anymore. You know, like COVID was happening, so I was like, no big deal. And so
left or right?
It was my left of all things. Left. So anyway, I went
snare arm.
Yeah, snare arm. So I go in and they're like, you have 2 tears in your rotator cuff. I'm like, awesome. You know, what do I do about that? They're like, well, I mean, you get surgery if you want, but you know, anyway. So then I'm like, about 3 weeks later, they're like, I go in, I'm like, man, this is gone over here. My right side is going now. So I go in and they go, you have a separated AC joint that's been there for so long that it's been fused now. It got knocked out and it was separated and it was fused in the wrong place. So they'd have to re-crack it to get it back in there. I'm like, nope, not doing that. So that's not happening. So it's like, it's all bad, you know? And
But you know what the first thing we should do?
3 in that one, you know?
Morgan, we should get you on the right supplements. We get your inflammation down. And if you had good calibrated gut biome, meaning your good bacteria and your bad bacteria is balanced.
That's where I almost died, was from the gut. I almost died in December, a year ago in December, because I had a hole in my small intestine, a hole in my gallbladder.
Oh my God.
And,
are you serious?
Yeah. So they pulled 6 liters of poison out of my stomach.
Oh my God.
And, yeah, man.
Wow.
I was going to Europe the next morning to go tour we were going out with Alter Bridge in Europe. And that night I was like, man, I have a stomach ache that just won't stop. It's so bad. I can't move. My mom got me this stuff called magnesium citrate, which is, you know, you're not going to have any problem pooping if you drink that shit.
Hey, Morgan, let's tell everybody who's listening. So magnesium is the greatest calmer, right? It puts people in what's called a parasympathetic function, calms them down. Everyone needs it. 85% of all Americans are low on magnesium. However, if you take the citrate, it'll make you poop and give you diarrhea. If you take the glycinate, it'll keep you solid. So that way people are not doubling up on the dose and then pooping themselves. That's not the goal, right?
Oh,
well, that stuff didn't go out the bottom. It didn't go out because I was so fucked up in there that I was blocked up because the hole had become blocked now. So then it came up that way.
Wow.
So, you know, you're throwing up for like 3 hours straight. And I'm like, I can't believe that I can't stop throwing up. I mean, the minute that, you know, when you get sick, you know, you throw up and you go, oh, that might be it. As long as it took me to rinse my mouth out to walk from one room to the bedroom, I had to get sick again. So that happened for about 3 hours. I went to the hospital. I'm waiting in the waiting room, and now I'm just gagging at this point. And nothing's there. Bile's gone. Everything's gone.
Wow.
I got my little dude with me. I got my little 11-year-old son with me, you know.
Yeah, he's probably scared to death.
Freaking out. And I go into the bathroom, and a bunch of throw up comes up. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, maybe I'm delirious. I'm like, maybe I had a parasite or something, you know, I don't know. And I look in there and it's shit. And I was like, I just threw up shit.
Wow.
I was like, so I go to the desk and I'm like, I don't know if it's bad or not, but I just threw up feces in your toilet.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And they were like, looked at me, and I had a shot of Zofran and another shot of morphine, and I was done. That was
you survived that.
Yeah,
it's incredible because that is the amount of toxicity that's in that.
Yeah.
That is mind blowing. That, like, it's amazing.
You're poisoning yourself.
Even you're so right on that. And you know, even how long ago was that, Morgan?
A year ago this past December.
We should still clean him out. We can cleanse you and detox you, get you all.
So Buzz and I are on this whole like prebiotic, probiotic, magnesium, all the thing. Like, we're on the same train. We do all the same shit. Like, it is your entire overall health comes from your gut. And this was not meant to be an entire preachy episode, but here we are.
Hey, how's your mucus? How's your mucus up in your nose and your throat and all that?
It's not bad. I mean, that isn't bad. You know, I had there's been like 2 or 3. Once that kind of shit happens to you, it's like, you know, you get a stomach ache and you're just like, oh fuck.
Oh yeah,
you know, like you're so sensitive to anything like that. So like I had it started with constipation. That's how it started for me. It was like, I can't go to the bathroom, you know, and then the next day, and you go to the bathroom and like 3 fucking BBs come out of you, you know, and they're hard as, you know, rock.
Deer poop.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know, something's not right. You know, this isn't right. And so then the stomach ache started. And so I have had that happen to me now 2 or 3 times since then, where I'll get a little constipation going, and then I'm like cranking Miralax and stool softeners. And
don't do that. Do not do Miralax and stool softeners. It takes hydration from all of your other organs, and it dehydrates you. You need the other supplements, the magnesium, the prebiotics, probiotics. Listen to Buzz.
Your mucosa also can drain from your face. Like, people find themselves really dry. It goes to your gut, trying to hydrate your gut area. So some people have bowel movements with like tons of mucus. I know it sounds terrible, but
how did we get on this? Like,
but that's how people get. But you know, RJ and I talked once about even just being a rocker, man. You're on the tour, you just don't get to eat normal. You're not sleeping normal. You know, so that like magnesium, that's a big driver I use for people going on tours. At least they can sleep.
It helps sleep.
It really helps you calm.
I take magnesium at night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Me too.
So I can sleep. Yeah.
Everybody should, right?
I have a hard time.
I'm absolutely like an invalid when it comes to like being able to understand what the hell is how to put everything together here. Cause now I'm overwhelmed with all the shit that I want to do.
That's why you need me, man.
Yeah. I need
you in touch.
Yes,
You hooked up.
definitely.
'Cause you need to be. Listen, you got little. How old are your kids?
13. Well, 21 and 13.
Yeah, you got to, listen. And you and I are the same age, but we got to take. We got to be around for our children, man. And just
Absolutely.
be healthy. So
Absolutely.
we'll get you all cleaned out. We'll get you right.
I would appreciate it very
Yeah,
much.
Well, this turned into a shitty conversation.
Listen, this guy is he is a badass, man. He deserves every bit of good health, resilience, and immunity in the world, man, especially having kids. So we appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, buddy.
That's
You
Yes,
were a
sir.
great surprise. I
Also,
thought
'cause-
we'd bring you in to connect with Morgan here.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
I mean, I forgot we were doing a podcast. This is just full on educational.
Oh
and
yeah,
I'm
we're
ready
just
to
hanging
go.
out.
Yeah.
Well, we're not
Listen,
ready to
I
let
want
you
you-
go yet, Morgan. We got a
I
couple more
want you
questions.
No, I'm
floating,
good.
man. Like I'm gonna live forever, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We
like
want you to
that
stay
idea.
around forever.
Yeah,
love that idea.
yeah. You got a big influence on the world, man. We got and you got beautiful kids. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely, man.
All right,
Thank you
guys.
so
Thanks
much,
for coming
man.
back on. Appreciate
Oh,
meeting you,
God.
Thank
Morgan.
you, Buzz.
too,
Thank you,
buddy.
Buzz
Thank you.
Minkin, everybody.
Okay, so
Yeah,
he's
man,
one of my
that's-
favorites of
God,
all
Oh,
time.
dude,
Just
how can he not be? That guy's
such-
amazing.
Such great advice, especially because what you do for a living, what I do for a living is so physically taxing. And also
Sure.
on top of that, tour bus life is also physically taxing. And for
Yeah.
me, adjusting to now permanent home life, this is the longest I've been home since 2009, like since we started touring on our first record. So yeah, I'll take it.
Also,
like that.
full
Absolutely.
disclosure, Morgan, it's your fault you forgot you were on a podcast, and it's not our fault if Blabbermouth picks it up.
Oh God, I know, man. You got to be fucking careful around here these days.
Yeah.
I know. Hey,
But,
everybody shits, man. It's fine.
But dude, like that's what it's all about. Like we're so open about anything that's going on, and being so open about the issues that we deal with in our personal lives helps other people. So I'd love to talk a little bit about your EP, Controlled Chaos, which is amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it. And I'd like to talk to you kind of about the writing process and what you were channeling when you were writing these songs. And was it something to do with your upbringing, your childhood, or just life in general?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a story. So it's like, I've done therapy for a long time and sometimes not consistent enough. And I had not the best luck in a handful of relationships. And, being with a musician is definitely not easy on any woman, that's for sure.
Yeah,
And I don't care how loyal the man is. It's just not real easy to be with a guy that is gone all the time and is subject to that lifestyle. So it's absolutely didn't have a whole lot to do with right, wrong, or, any of that. It really just had more to do with, I was just broken. I was like, I'd become somebody that I just didn't want to be. And so I had like this epiphany about that. I mean, life is just all about continuous growth. It's continuous maintenance. Anybody that thinks that they've got it figured out they're wrong. You don't have it figured out. It's always challenging in some way. There's always some sort of curveball that's going to come somewhere, for at least for me. So the COVID hit, and my girl is a trainer and she's also an engineer, and she's like a serious engineer.
Whoa.
Serious
Supposed to be
engineer.
smart and fun.
Oh, she's
Hey,
ridiculous.
she's a
Yeah,
keeper.
she's ridiculous. So I mean, like, she had just done she'd been working with Limp Bizkit. She did the Alkaline Trio record. She'd worked on the Volbeat record.
No way.
Yeah, she's serious business. Like, I mean, she's, she knows her shit. So everything was shut down in California, and she's like, I got the keys to the studio. And I'm like, man, it'd be cool if I could like record something, but I don't know how to play guitar good enough. And Clint had just done, his solo thing, and then COVID shut that down. And he goes, man, you need to do this solo thing.
His record was great too.
It was unreal.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I'm not going to go in there and hack through guitar stuff. He goes, man, I got a few ideas musically. Go in there and play drums. Go in there and sing on it. Arrange it however you want. Do what you do, and put together an EP or something. And I'm like, so I go in there and I do one song. He sends me this idea, and I'm like, I kind of like this. It's different, and I write some words to it, and they were pretty deep and pretty fucked up, and I was vulnerable enough to go ahead and put it out there.
Yeah.
And I didn't think anything of it. I really just thought, I'll do this song I'll release it on my own, maybe give, the money to charity or something like that. And I sent it to my manager and I was like, hey, I'm going to put this out, on the website or something. And he goes, dude, Sevendust is signed to Rise. Like you have to go through them first. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not doing a full record. I just have one song. And he goes, you got to give it to them first to see if they want it. And literally, like, it went from doing the song, and 3 days later, he goes, hey, man, congratulations. You got a record deal with Rise. They want you to do this EP. And I'm like, what?
Fuck.
I'm like, dude, I don't have any more songs. So, yeah. So Clint, came up with a few more songs. And then I kind of, me and him and this guy that helped us work on it, Andrew, who was a guy that Tim had actually worked with and was working or was managing, I think, or actually had talked about managing them. Arcane Roots is his band. Okay. And he's incredibly talented. And I said, man, I got this idea that I want to do this thing, no drums, just I want to break this song down that's really deep.
That's actually really, like, if you think about that, like the levity of that, of you doing a song with no drums as a career drummer.
Yeah.
You had something to say. Yeah.
I mean, it was weird because it was just really a little piano piece, a little progression. And
is that Exhale?
It was, yeah. And it was really just about a time in my life where I was okay with dying, okay with killing myself. I didn't really want to be here that bad anymore. And there was this feeling of like, I can't do it to my kids, I can't do it to my family. And
what made you want to do something like that?
Just feeling completely alone, like, I mean, I would go on tour and, like my daughter was already gone, she had already was doing her thing and was grown up. My son lives with, my ex-wife, and she's great. And she, she lets me, I mean, we have a very cool relationship. Like
that's good.
But I was alone, and we would go on tour, and I would get done with the tour and I would get dropped off at the I'd land at the airport and I'd jump in an Uber and I would take Uber home and open up the door and it'd be empty, and I'd come in my house and sit down and it's silent, Some people would like that, but I remembered get off the plane, go outside, and my kids run to me and jump on me, and my wife is, waiting behind them. And it wasn't that I mean, obviously I missed my kids. And regardless of how cool my relationship is with my ex-wife, it wasn't that I missed that. It was that I just was alone, and so I remember one night in particular, and this kickstarted therapy for me again, but one night in particular, my ex-girlfriend and me had split up, and it had been a little while, but she had a bunch of stuff here, and they moved her stuff out while I was on tour. So literally I had most of my stuff in a storage unit, and the house was really furnished with her stuff. So I walked in the house, I had some drinks on the plane, long tour. I open up the door, it's completely empty except for this little Chase lounge upstairs. And I'm like, I'm not ready for this.
That's heavy.
Put the bag in, shut the door, go to the bar. So I go to the bar and I just get roasted. And I came back home, and all that was left in the house really, other than, my toiletry shit and my clothes, was this one TV in the living room and this Chase lounge upstairs. So I'm hammered drunk, and I come home and I pull this Chase lounge down the stairs drunk and sit it in the middle of the living room. And I lay down on this Chase lounge and I'm watching TV, and, I'm just a mess. And there's nothing in the house, and I'm laying there. And the only thing, if you can believe this, is more as brutal as this is, the only thing that I saw in the whole house was in the corner of the living room, there was a workout band. And I'm sitting there like this, and I just had thought of people that I admired and that or cared about, both, that had killed themselves with a workout band.
Oh my God.
And I'm sitting there And it just went through my head where I'm just looking at this thing and I'm thinking, I think I'm going to kill myself with that fucking workout band. Like, it was just going through my head over
Isn't
and
it
over.
wild though, like how it's translated now?
I mean, this was not that long ago, you know. This wasn't like
Right, but now you're using that workout band physically to better yourself now.
Yeah, of course.
But you know what? I know the power of music, and I know the power of songwriting, and being able to take negative feelings that make you so overwhelmed that you're shaking. And when you put it into words, when you take it out of here and you put it into here and create something beautiful from something so negative, that has a powerful effect that can really do something. Is that kind of your process with writing this song?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I didn't talk about it a whole lot, you know. It wasn't something that I thought was really anybody's business. It wasn't that I was like, I'm very touchy about, I'm usually pretty outspoken anyway, but it's like I'm not down with preaching and I'm not into like doing that to people. But it was one of these things where the drink had something to do with it, just in the sense of I knew I wasn't going to do it. In my mind, I'm thinking, you're not going to do that. But the drink added to the despair was going to take away the feeling of the reality for me, you know? So then the song was really written about waking up and you're in a different place, you know, and realizing that all these people down there are completely fucking destroyed over this thing that happened and what you did. And you really didn't want to do it. You know, like that was really what I wrote it about personally, was me realizing that it was too late, you know, that I'd gone too far and there was no way I could turn back from it. But, you know, that's why I started to chill out on that as well. I was like, I can't do that right now because I
drinking?
don't trust myself. Yeah.
Okay. I've been there, and I gave up drinking for like a year and a half because I scared myself. I drove drunk.
Yeah.
And it was so fucking stupid, and I was so angry at myself. I was like, I'm not drinking. Forget it. It was a really, really low point in my life, a really toxic moment in my relationship at the time. But what a great way to get out of that by making those changes in your life and also channeling your feelings into something productive and something creative to get yourself out of that mental state, right?
Well, and something that people don't realize too is like the amount of strength that it takes to come back from a place like that.
Yeah.
You know, just battling the depression and battling, you know, the demons and the thoughts and the alcohol and everything, and to go from where you were to where you are now is so far beyond where you were. Like, it's amazing that you are where you are.
And you have someone in your life that gives you some stability. You've got a rock in your life. Are you still like no alcohol, no nothing right now? Or?
Yeah, I haven't done anything now. I mean, when I did it, when that happened, it was like, first thing was wake up in the morning and realize, holy shit, okay, I'm still here. And I look and I grab scissors and I cut the fucking workout band up, you know?
Oh,
like,
dude, that's amazing.
Destroy that shit right away.
Yep.
And then I called my mom and I said, I'm shaking and I don't know what to do other than I need a therapist immediately. Like I need one on like stat, like right now, you know, like, so I was panicking. She got me one, you know, and I went to that therapist 3 days that week. And so it kind of like, it took the edge off right away. And then, you know, over time, over a few years, when I say that wasn't that long ago, it wasn't like it was last year. I mean, but it was this thing where I got better. I decided I needed to be alone, you know, like, let's just be alone for a little while instead of going girl to girl and relationship to relationship.
It's you working on yourself, which is where it has to start.
That has to start there. And I just didn't want to be alone. You know, I mean, that was like, to me, I was lonely because I just didn't like me and I didn't want to be alone with me and my thoughts. So, Yeah, so I did that. I thought I had it all figured out, and then I end up in a relationship, and then I started getting fucking weird with that too, because it's real easy to have your shit together, when you're not
It is.
in a relationship. And
I think that's just great advice all around, because that's a real thing that a lot of people, a real crossroad that people confront in their life. And you did it the right way. You reached out. You reached out for help when you needed it. I mean, you got a kick-ass mom, right?
She's awesome.
I got a kick-ass mom.
You sure do.
You do have a kick-ass mom.
To the moms, you got a kick-ass mom.
And something that I sent to RJ earlier this week, because of him telling me about his anxiety on last week's episode. It's this graphic that I saw, and it's so perfect and so fitting. And it says, I have depression, but I prefer to say I battle depression instead of I suffer with it, because depression hits, but I hit back, battle on.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that with anxiety, that was what saved me, was really a very simple, took about 5 seconds, and I was basically cured from panic attacks, because panic was really there because I thought I was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like I can't think, I can't function, I don't know what's going on, I don't know why.
Like your heart went crazy.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I've had that. That's awful.
And I had them at 17 years old, so this is many moons ago. But it was like I would have them. I mean, I would have 60 or 70 of them in a day. They'd be every 3 or 4 minutes. It would be this rush of adrenaline, and here it comes. Here it fucking comes again.
And know it's coming, but you cannot stop it. You can't stop
Couldn't stop it. I mean, like it was like the scariest shit. It was like smoking weed paranoia. Which I don't smoke weed, and when I did, that was how it felt. Yeah. So I go to a shrink, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. Like I won't live like this. There's no way. There's no way. And she said, "Well, what are you afraid of?" And I said, "Well, I'm afraid of dying. It feels like I'm gonna die." And she goes, "Oh," she goes, "Well, you're not gonna die from it." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, you're special, but you're not that special. You're not gonna have a panic attack and die.
Yeah.
You might have a panic attack and you could pass out, maybe, probably not, but maybe, but you're not gonna die." And I'm like, "So I can't die from it?" And she goes, "No, you can't die from it." I said, "I can't die."
Okay, there
She's
we go.
Like, "No chance." And I'm like, I was like, "So there's no chance ever? Like not even one person?" I mean, she was like, "You just can't die from it."
How many ER visits did it take though? Because I have hit the ER 3 times.
Absolutely, I hit a few of them. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I had one 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
And so the minute I knew that I couldn't die from it, she actually used that was her way of describing it. She goes, "Get mad at it. Get more angry with it. Fight it off in that, you can't hurt me. You can't kill me. I was afraid of you because I thought you could do this. And I just found out you can't. So I'm done." And literally within a few days, it was almost gone, because it would come and I'd be like, fuck, and then I would just kind of be like, well, and it just was like, it was weird. It was, I mean, at 17 years old, I thought the fucking devil was inside me. I mean, like I didn't have control over it. It was like, it was bad news,
Full on chemically imbalanced possession.
It was crazy.
Mental wealth is a common topic that we love to talk about, and we love to promote that. So thank you for being so open about that subject.
Yeah.
I think it's
And
helped so many people.
The best thing too is that so many of our viewers, are realizing they're not alone.
We're seeing comments right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Faith.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom. Everybody. Yeah. So I'd like to talk a little bit though about the music video before we let you go. The music video is really amazing, really artistic. I love the makeup that you wear. Could you kind of describe the theme and the kind of your synopsis that was in your mind when you came up with this video concept?
Well, I mean, it's more of like the two different people, I mean, that was where it started. The kid is more like me,
Yeah.
And turning into me. And there were some metaphoric things in there, there's the girl is in there and she's a lady of the night. I mean, I don't know exactly what I should say about that.
That's okay.
So,
I think that's fine.
RJ.
But
It's interpretive art, essentially.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's art. Okay, yeah,
I mean, you know, the
really cool.
the car, you know, that's getting ready to take us out, you know. I mean, that's basically, you know, where I was in my life when that song was written, recent, but the topic was written about that time in my life where, I mean, I was a tortured soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy though. So what I understand is you recorded this EP in 9 days and you
Yeah.
lost your voice day one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh God.
Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing in there, you know. I mean, I'm just a little, you know, a little of that voice every now and again, you know. The worse shape that's in, the better for that voice.
Oh
And,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like sing, you know. So I sang, the first song went okay, and then when I actually did the last 4 songs was when it got weird.
Really?
Yeah, I did the first day, and then the next day I went in there and it was like, oh, I tried to sing and it was like, you know, it had a little few frogs and
Oh no.
yeah, threw a jewel in there, you know.
Yeah.
You know, then I was like, oh, this isn't gonna work. And
You got to have that throat coat
Did you
teeth.
talk to a vocal coach?
you know, I had the coolest thing. I had John and I had Clint, because these guys aren't really full-time singers being in Sevendust, you know. They both sing, and Clint sings a tremendous amount, but he had just done the solo thing. So it was like, dude, how did you do that? You know, like what happened there? And how did you keep your voice together? And then I talked to John, and John was like, yeah, you know, why don't you try? Both of them said pretty much the same thing, you know, take it easy, don't talk too much, and then, you know, do the tea thing if you want, and do, you know, whatever you can to help it out. But the main thing is shut the fuck up for a little bit. And John said, you know, when it comes back, you'll probably be in better shape than you were before. It's almost like it'll come back stronger.
Yeah.
And then, so 2 days, 3 days later, you know, I gave it another shot, and it was all right. Got through it then.
I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad that so is there any chance of a solo tour? Maybe you just getting on the mic as a front man. Hey, if you need a drummer.
Oh God, if it was going to happen, it would definitely be you.
This is my way of weaseling into your solo band.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, you know, that would be the greatest ever.
Hey, just saying.
What me and you should really do, is we should go out on the road with like a DJ or something, and me and you should have 2 kits up and have like that happen,
like a drum off, almost
just like a drum show, epic. You know.
Yeah,
like
you know, we have that here. We have that here where I live. It's a DJ and drums, and they call it decks and drums.
I've always wanted to do that.
Wanted to do it.
It's Travis Barker and like, you know, style. Yeah. That's fucking that would be amazing. Let's make that happen.
That's like a little club tour right there.
Marshmallow, if you're watching, call. You know,
I mean, it could be really cool. You know,
you could go to Vegas, but we'd have to not do casinos.
right, exactly.
No casino. That's fine because I'm fine.
I had talked to Tommy Lee about doing it like years ago, and he was like, you know,
he's done it.
He had done something similar to that, you know, with the drums and the DJ. But I'm like, what about 2 drum sets? And it's not like, you know, it's just us jamming together, you know, playing off of each other in this DJ, and it's theatrical because we play that way, you know.
Yeah.
So
well, and this
like
might
a fucking circus.
Like I'm not a drummer, so this might sound really dumb, but like one could kind of take like the bass guitar style and the rhythm guitar, you know, like it's like main and bass, right? Couldn't you?
Yeah. You know,
like I don't know the drummer.
I hear what you're saying. We understand what you're saying. Yeah, I'd be the one that would take the bass and let him go off because I'm fucking.
You know, Eva, we would need some dancers. So you know anybody?
I have a metal burlesque dance group that I own.
There we go.
Actually, we opened for Sevendust in Sturgis.
Oh,
that's right. Ago. Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, if you, me, and Tommy Lee did it, we'd have to dress up like the 3 Amigos. Like Steve Martin, Chevy Chase. Yes.
Amazing.
Morgan, goddamn, you've been such an amazing hang. Thank you for being so fucking cool.
Jesus,
there we go. That's what it's gonna look like. The 3 Amigos. Before I let you go, though, I do have one question, and it's something that has been rattling my brain since I've known you, and I have to give you the biggest props for committing to this for as long as you have. I have severe ADD. I change my mind every 10 seconds. I always am doing different hairstyles and different weird things with my hair. how have you committed to the same hairstyle for that long? I mean, it's your trademark. It's your signature.
I can't get rid of it, man.
I get so bored with my hair. Like, how have you been able to commit to
You
that
wouldn't be
hairstyle?
Morgan Rose without that hairstyle.
It's
you're
so
right.
brutal. It's like, so I was gonna get rid of it like 10 years ago. I was like, I'm gonna do this, and then I was gonna do a mohawk. I was like, I'll just do that, and this was maybe 10 or 12 years ago, and I was right there. I was like, man, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it. And I didn't do it. And then right when I didn't do it, like 3 dudes had mohawks because it wasn't real popular. Maybe it was longer than that. But, and I was like, oh shit, I'm glad I didn't do that mohawk. You know, I'd have just been doing that, you know.
It's a very signature look. But I know that the guys in your band have changed their hairstyles over the years. We saw LeJean famously cut all of his dreads off around the Seasons era. And then now he's got them back. So, I mean, I'm amazed that you've been able to commit to that for so long. What's the process of getting it like that? I mean, that's what I'm saying. If it sucks so bad, how are you still committed to it?
I mean, every now and again, you know, I mean, I'm not exactly a fucking looker over here to begin with. So, I mean,
that's like, not true.
All of a sudden, I'll catch a little deal where like the hair is back or something, like, whoa, that ain't going to happen for a minute, you know?
Where did that look originate? Like, what's the genesis of? Because now it's like when you see Sevendust, you expect to see Morgan with his braids flying around.
Morgan Rose with his braids and LJ with his dreads.
It wouldn't be Sevendust if Morgan didn't have his braids. But what made you do it to begin with?
So it's funny because man, it's a great story actually. So this is fucking crazy. So
buckle up, everybody.
We're like, we don't know shit, you know. We're like a bunch of just, you know, Southern dudes from Georgia that we're just, I mean, LJ's always had style, but like, we don't have any fucking style, you know. I mean, we're terrible at all that stuff. So I basically had my hair in a ponytail, and that was how I played. You know, I played hard with my hair in a ponytail, and the record label brings us up to New York, you know how they do, and they want to, you know, get you some hair, you know, hair dye and some clothes, and, you know, take you from the guy that's, you know, the normal dude and turn you into somebody that you're really not.
A commercial artist.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
So anyway, we go to this hairstylist. She goes, I'm thinking that maybe we do some braids and maybe we do this. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I don't know about all that, dude. Like, I was just hammering nails on a roof the other day. Like, I mean, I don't know about all this braid talk, you know? And she goes, no, you know, you got to step out. You know, you're different now. You need to do this. You know, you need to do something to stand out. So I just let her do it. She dyes my hair and puts these braids on it. And then on the first record, I have this braided thing. So that was how it started. The band laughed in my face.
What?
Laughed at me. So,
oh my God.
Anyway, we were on tour with Coal Chamber, and I had my hair regular. It was back to regular.
Really?
For just a minute. And
see if you can find a photo of that somewhere. I want to see it. I don't think I even recognize it.
Like maybe on the first record or something, you can see the back cover has like the ponytail.
Wow.
But, so Raina, we came out of the backstage area, and Raina was signing autographs, and so I was hanging out with Raina back then, and she's signing autographs, and she would look over at me. She goes, and then she'd like grab my hand, and we walk away. She goes, "I'm sorry, you know, you guys will get there." And I'm like, I said, make no mistake about it. Those people recognize you guys because of them fucking haircuts.
That's right.
And she was like. She's like, you know, oh, no, it's not. And I was like, I said, okay. I said, all right. So next day, twist up the old hair, do a little buzz shot back here. They get off stage. I'm standing out the back door. She walks up and I went, oh, and I just pulled one of these and I was signing. And next thing you know, it was like everybody knew the hair, you know?
Yeah. Signature.
They knew that hair thing. So that's how it stuck, was that it was like, okay, I guess this is that. And then it really became color choices for a bunch of years.
You have swapped out the colors, but I really don't know anyone else, especially in the rock world, that has that hairstyle. I mean, as of recently, guys like Little Gotti are now ripping you off.
Ripping my shit, man.
They're totally ripping you off. And does that make you upset? You know?
That's some Raggedy Ann color right there.
I love that. Man. Well, I'm curious, what is your natural hair style?
Brown and curly.
Oh, so you got
same.
got like a
Yeah.
fro going on, or
Yeah, I could do that. I could do that if I wanted.
nice,
Yeah.
man.
I
So
could do that.
Do you think you'll ever cut them off or ever change it? Because
Yeah, I mean,
it's
it's
kind of your
gotta
trademark.
happen. It's gotta
It's the
happen.
alien freak style.
It's gotta happen, man. I gotta get rid of it at some point.
I
you know?
disagree. You got to keep that forever. I'm sorry. You made your own bed. You dug
I
your own
mean,
grave.
It's
You're
Branded
stuck
your
with it
own
now.
self.
It's your brand now.
so
You have no
fucked up.
choice.
Clint was telling me Clint told me years 2000 whatever year we did seasons 3 or 6 or whatever it was. I can't even remember, but whatever year that record came out, I had written the lyrics to the verses of Enemy, and he looked at me and he goes, "You gonna be cool with that, man?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, it's cool." And he goes, "You gonna be cool with that if you're like 40 or 50 years old singing that step up to me, step up to me?" And I was like, "Yeah, man." And I'm thinking, he goes, "You gonna be cool with that haircut, saying that Enemy shit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, don't worry about it." I'm thinking to myself, "You're just jealous you didn't write it." Guess
Yeah, you
what?
didn't think of it, right?
I'll tell you what, right now, I am fucking wishing all day that I didn't fucking write that thing. I mean,
I
it
love
is
it,
not
man.
easy.
Oh my God, that's too good.
Forever, silver fox braids someday.
It's all happening.
Keep it going, man. Keep committing to it. Morgan, I love you, bud. Thank
I
you
love
so
you
much.
to death, buddy.
Thank you so much for coming on. It was good to see you again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I love you, man. And I'll get you
love
in touch
you.
with Buzz for sure.
Yes, definitely text me for sure. Cause let's see if we can get this, belly to do what it's supposed to do.
I love you, brother, man. We'll be in
I
touch.
love you too. Give your sister my love, and Joseph and everybody else, the whole family.
I will. I also have I still have my place in LA, so maybe we'll link up there or something.
Dude, I'm there a lot. So,
all right, man. I'll let you know
right.
when we get out there then.
Absolutely.
All right, bud.
Thanks,
I love you,
Morgan. Thanks so much for joining us.
Great.
Thank
The
you guys so
Godfather.
much.
The Godfather of drums. Morgan Rose, everybody. We'll see you
Take care,
soon.
guys.
Love you, man. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Ow, amazing.
Oh my goodness.
I can't hit this button enough. That was so great. And we totally got a total exclusive about his hair, too. So
what an interview. I was not expecting that.
I mean, I
So
know you
sad.
met him, but I mean,
Yes.
I didn't get to mention this on the interview, but I have known him since I was 13 years old, since I was a kid. And he was so he's just as sweet to me today as he was when I first met him. And even back when I had nothing, Hailstorm was nothing, and they still treated us so great. And that has stuck with us because now we're at this position where we've got newer bands looking up to us, and we have learned from Sevendust.
They set an example.
They set the example for us, and we live by their example every day.
It's so great too. It's so funny that you say that because anytime that I've worked with them, I've had the same experience. Like, they're so gracious. I usually work in production and hospitality at a lot of events, and they're so incredibly kind. And I've never had an issue. I've got stories. I should write a book. Sevendust is never one of them. They're incredible guys.
Well, they got an incredible fan base, and thank you all for all your comments today. It was really great to see that.
Also, bummer, Brock lost, B-Rock
yes.
lost some internet connection. He was having some issues, so he'll be back with us next week.
You know what? He's feeling really sick too. So Brock, hang in there, buddy. He'll be back next week though, for sure. But I'm really excited about next week because who do we have on the show next week?
Diamante.
Diamante is on the show. Where's my sound? There it is. Yes.
He's our main guest, along with
excited.
special guest RJ, who's our special guest.
Oh, and our special guest is Paris, who I cannot pronounce her last name.
Bizon?
Bizon. Paris Bizon.
She is considered.
Dan, help me.
Visoni.
Visoni. There it is. Thank you, Dan. Yes, so we got and who is an amazing photographer. I've known her for years. She's
considered the #1 female rock photographer in the industry, and she's got a coffee table book we cannot wait to talk to her about next week.
Yes,
so Diamante and Paris Visoni are joining us next week. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. What a great season this has been. And that's the penultimate episode. Then we got the last episode after that. And man, this has been such a great season. It's been such a great ride. And
I think we have a couple more.
Do we?
Sucker. You didn't know.
Man, did I? Oh God. You know, I don't even know what day it is half the time. Either way, I'm just saying it's been a great season. And it's only
has been. So it's time on that note. It's time for that high note.
All right, let's wrap up the show. Thanks. And this high note this week is going to be a little different because, unfortunately, it's not really a high note at all. I usually try to leave you with something positive at the end of our show, and this has been such a great show. Morgan, Buzz, what an incredible positive energy we've had. But there's something that we didn't mention on the show that I think is very important to bring up right now. I usually try to leave you with something positive at the end of our show, but this week it was hard to find with things going on around us, giving us such harsh reality checks. And I'm mainly talking about the number one harm that women face every single day since the beginning of time: abusive men. Fair warning, this segment contains topics of violence, racism, and misogyny. It's definitely on a more serious note than usual because this is a serious matter. I hate to make it so heavy, but we really do need to have this conversation. And it would be irresponsible of me not to address this at all, or at least do my part to communicate to other men out there how to behave and maybe offer a better mentality us guys should acquire so we can help to do something about this perpetual problem. First, I have to give a huge thanks right now to my girlfriend, Emily Watson. She was such a huge help for me writing this monologue this week. Babe, you're so brilliant and creative, and you always have my back when I need your expertise. Thank you, and I love you. Okay, let's get into it. In the last week of Women's History Month, where women's rights are at the forefront of our thoughts, I wanted to bring to light some important issues women face. Since recent events have brought back the conversation about women's rights, but women's rights to live their lives without fear. A few weeks ago in the UK, 33-year-old Sarah Everard was abducted and murdered. The killer accused a 48-year-old man and a cop, someone whose job was to protect her. This has prompted many women to share their stories about fearing for themselves in public, the lack of trust in men and authority figures, reminding the rest of the world how prevalent this issue is. And then this past Tuesday, the shooting that just happened in Atlanta, shining light again on male violence and also the rise of violence against Asian Americans in the U.S., fueled by angry rhetoric regarding the coronavirus. It's wrong, it's unfair, and our hearts go out to the families of the victims, as well as the entire Asian American community, for the pain they continuously feel in this country. Right now, though, I want to focus on the fact that a man just brutally murdered 6 women, and there's no excuse or reason for that, ever. While police haven't released the official motive of this deeply disturbed individual, the way the sheriff described his actions by saying he had a bad day only amplifies the issue of racial and gender bias we're still blatantly seeing right in front of us. And these are just the events that made the news. There are so many more cases out there that we never even hear about, as well as the meteoric rise of domestic violence under the pandemic. But then I see this short-sighted hashtag rising on social media, hashtag not all men. How about this analogy? When I do yard work and I see some wasps, I know every single one of them probably won't sting me, but am I going to make that distinction when I see a swarm of them? No. While granted, it's true, not all men are bad, but the ratio is still very disturbing. If it's not all men, then why is it nearly all women who are affected? Look at the statistics. An average of 6 women around the world are killed by way of male violence every single hour. 1 in 3 women will experience physical violence at least once in their life. And the scarier statistic, at least in my opinion, is that only 15 to 35% of all sexual assaults are reported, according to my research. That's nearly 80% of cases that go unreported. The reality is a hashtag like not all men is damaging because, once again, you're diluting the issue. It's dismissive of women's experiences, and pushing ideas like this only discourages them from reporting violence. I know every single woman I've ever dated has told me multiple stories of aggressive, manipulative, and abusive men in their past, experiences ranging from them feeling scared to being full-on assaulted. And it just put it in perspective for me what beasts a lot of guys are. The responsibility isn't on women to stop holding men accountable for their actions. It's on men to stop behaving in a way that demands accountability. And we have no clue what women go through on a daily basis because none of it enters our mind. When we're trying to find our car in a parking lot, we're thinking about what we have to do when we get home. Women are holding their keys between their fingers and looking behind them every 5 seconds to make sure they're not being followed. Look, none of us are perfect. I don't want to be categorized with these assholes, and I'm sure no other man does either. But it's important to remember that we're not the victims here. Just our presence alone can stoke fear in women. The responsibility is on me to make it abundantly clear to everyone I meet who I really am as a person, what my core values are, to listen, learn, and educate myself about the experience of others, to call out those who look like me that do terrible things, to believe women who open up about their experiences. That's what we as men all need to do, to make it known to women that we're on their side and we have their back. It's a call to arms for us to use our privilege and our platform to push the right narrative, do our duty to protect, defend, and stand up for women who are our equal partners on this planet. It's not enough to just be a good guy. We need to be actively fighting to stamp out violence and inequality to women and continue the fight against toxic, manipulative, and abusive masculinity. And I can't think of a more noble cause than that. I just want to make a note that while I'm only talking about this specific issue this week, there are many other issues that require the same level of urgency and empathy. Only when we are all safe and equal can we all truly thrive. So after the show ends tonight, I want you to go and talk to the women in your lives. Listen and understand their experiences. And when you go out in public, be more observant for what they have to go through and hold other men accountable for their actions. And that separates the boys from the men. If there's any glimmer of a high note in this segment, I guess it would be this. Recently, the Violence Against Women Act just passed in Congress, which is some very long-awaited news. Very good news, actually. I hope that leaves you on a somewhat positive note this week, maybe at the very least with a feeling of hope for the future, but only if we keep trying our damnedest to make the future better together. And thanks for sticking around. That's our show. I want to thank Morgan Rose, Buzz Mingan, Eva Steele, B-Rock, Dan Catulo, and all of you Stop, Drop, and Talkers out there. We love you. If you like the show, please subscribe and do whatever you can this week to spread something positive. That's your mission. We'll see you next Monday right here on Stop, Drop, and Talk. Stay safe and God bless.
Stop, drop, and talk.